Let me do a little countdown. All right, my brothers, welcome to the Sig Up Success Series. This is episode 17, 18. I think we're on 18. Holy crap. This is with brother Rich Clark. And he's going to educate us a little bit on how to move money and move money wisely. Let him do a little brief introduction on himself, but uh, yeah, brother from 2000. You were at Utah State from 2003, 2008, kind of in that
Yeah, somewhere in
realm.
there.
But I
Yep.
think you joined SIG up towards the end, or I'm trying to remember
I think I was
when you were there.
so I think the last 2 years that I was in college I was in the SIG up. So
Okay,
yep.
so oh 07, oh 08. So that yeah, that's I was out. I would have been, I guess, the alumni president slash my last year in. We kind of originally touched paths, but okay, let's do this. Hey, Rich Clark, everyone. I want to ask you the first little question. I appreciate you giving me some time.
hmm
First of all, tell us all a brief synopsis for those that haven't seen you in 10 plus years. Where you at? What you doing? What's the family life like? Maybe some hobbies. We'll go from there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We live in Layton right now. We've been here, let's see, 5 or 6 well, no, we've been here almost 10 years. Holy cow. It's crazy. We were down in Flagstaff for 2 years, and then we moved back up, and that's when I started with Edward Jones. Um, we, I've been with Edward Jones now for 10 years, and it's been great. I have 3 kids. My oldest is 14. Holy cow. Um, my second, so I have Brooklyn, she's 14. Mason is 11, and then Haley is 8. So those are my
Very
three.
good. Very good.
Pretty awesome. Um, So I've been doing a lot of biking. So I'm big into cycling right now. And so that's one of my passions. And then skiing in the winter is probably my other. So
Very good. Now I'm not going to mention this to her, but you left out one crucial
oh,
detail.
and Cami.
You're
Absolutely. I thought everyone knew about Cami because we were married when we were in Sig Apps. But
yeah,
yeah,
but
married to
and
my lovely
she
spouse, Cami.
Yeah, and I want to bring that up. She actually was if I remember correctly, she was a SIGEP sweetheart. She was like one of the early, as we were trying to figure that whole sweetheart thing out. I remember she kind of was adopted in real quick, and she was a sweetheart for the SIGEPs, and yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic wife you got there.
no, she's awesome, and Sig Epps was one of the reasons how I met her. So it's pretty cool that one of our brothers, Alex Putnam, introduced me to her. So
Yeah,
that's Alex's cousin. It's pretty cool.
yeah, very good, very good. So, okay, you mentioned. Okay, well let's go historically. You are currently a financial advisor for Edward Jones.
Right.
So, any of the undergrads watching this, anybody alumni watching this, just that's what Rich does. He's a money guy. So, if that is of intrigue, let's dive into that a little bit later on. But let's talk about how did you end up? Because I don't know where you're from. This is bad of me, but I should know where you're from. Where did you come from as far as and ended up in Logan and so forth?
So I grew up in Providence, which is
Oh,
pretty much Logan. So yeah, it's south side of the valley. Went to Mountain
that's right.
Crest.
What I'm finding out is every brother that was from the valley, I didn't know where they were from. Anybody
Oh yeah,
outside of the valley, I remember. I'm like, oh, you're from Salt Lake. Oh, you're from California. Oh, or Idaho. So far, everybody I've talked to that I'm like, I don't remember where you're from. You're from the valley.
yep, yes. So Ted and I grew up together. Went to
Oh
high school
yeah,
together. So that's how we Ted
that's
Ted
right.
pretty much introduced me to Sig Up, so it's been good.
Okay. Those dots are now all connecting. Very good.
Yeah.
So, Providence. So, did you know you were going Utah State, or did you were like, I love the school, grew up watching the football, basketball. I want to be an Aggie.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Utah State. I think I was the eh, probably the line that I was going to go to, no matter what. So,
Hmm.
being in the
Okay.
valley, kind of grew up there, went to all the games, and had a good time. It's great.
Very good. Now, you when you got there, you your degree, you got two bachelors. You've got a bachelor in marketing as well as a bachelor in economics.
Yep.
What did you plan to go into? I guess financial advising. When did that come into play? And then was that part of the play? Did you go into college wanting to do something different? Break down your
So,
college experience a little
so
bit for us.
in college, my main degree was probably marketing. To get your economics degree, it's only another semester. So it kind of I just thought we'd have more opportunities in the future with having the two degrees. And in college, I paid my way through selling pest control. So did that for 4 years, 4 summers, worked my butt off. Worked long hours to make sure that I could pay for all my school. And
Mhm.
so, graduated debt free, and it was a good start that way. Was able to do a lot of fun things in college that probably wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't have done that. So made it nice. But
Very good. So with marketing, did you have plans for other things?
so out of college, I went in and got a job at City Financial, and we mainly did personal loans and real estate refinances. And so that was my first job out of college. And so I started right at the Great Recession. And so I got to experience lending for about 6 months, and then I became a collector for about 2 years, which wasn't very enjoyable. Um,
Rough time. I'm
so
afraid, like the fact that you got a job and got into that
yeah,
market to some degree during that period.
I
I
was
know a lot.
dodging lots of layoffs and different things. So I count my blessings that I even got through it with a
Yeah.
job for as long as I had it. So, but I was in that for a few years, and then I got promoted to become a branch manager, and that's what moved us down to Flagstaff. So
Okay.
worked down there, kind of got to a point in my career where it wasn't we'd have to start traveling a little bit more, and I didn't really want to do that with my family. Didn't want to be away as much. And so I
Hmm.
started looking at different options, and that's how I got into financial advising. I have an uncle, a cousin, lots of family members that are financial advisors. So
Okay. So something you were a little bit experienced, at least through the family, you kind of knew about it. And
a little bit.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's break down Utah State. How was your time there? What were some of you mentioned? I know actually I'm gonna go ahead and I know there's a little piece of the pie from you and where I knew you, or at least I would see you.
Yeah.
Um, oh, hold on, where'd it
Got
go?
a nice picture of me.
Oh, I got a great picture of you. Sad thing is, I, I wish I took this one, but I know I have another. I can't find the one I took of you, but right there on the
Oh
sideline.
yeah, there you go.
So this is how a lot of us would see you. We were right there on the front rows often, and you and
Yep.
Ted and we had and Tommy. We had
Yep.
three
Tommy.
brothers that were cheerleaders.
Yep.
And what? How was that experience? Give us the.
It
Did you enjoy it?
I
Because
actually
you guys
really
never really got to watch the game as much. You had to face the crowd.
yeah, well, no, actually you get to watch the game as a male cheerleader quite a bit. It's the girls that have to face the crowd and dance all the time. Um,
Okay.
but but yeah, it was an enjoyable experience. I really did. It was fun to be able to learn. I wasn't a cheerleader in high school, and so I don't know how I made it on the squad because I'd never done it before. But I guess they liked that I was, you know, pretty
You had upper
fit.
body
Yeah, I
strength.
had upper body strength and could lift some girls. So It kind of worked out that way.
So was that Ted getting you involved in that?
He did. Ted got me involved in that as well. So he wrapped me into a lot of stuff. And I thank him for it. It was a good experience.
That's awesome. So you did that for how many years? Were you on the Spirit Squad?
So I did that for 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. So
Um, and then you can to connect those dots. So Ted brought you into the Spirit Squad, but Ted was also a Sig Ep, and then he brought you into Sig Ep. That was how you first came to know about us.
yeah. Yeah, it I mean, Sig Ep was just great. My experience with Sig Ep was just, it was nice to have a good brotherhood. And I just, all the guys in there, I felt like I connected with. And it was just a lot of fun to be around them. And so that was the enjoyable thing about Sig Eps, I feel. Just did a few retreats. Those were a lot of fun.
All right. So okay, we're gonna share again because you're gonna. I honestly, I had to dive in. I don't know that I dove into your pictures.
Oh,
I
okay.
stalked you, but so what is this? The guys wear I there's a Sig Ep shirt, but
Oh,
I
that's
don't
my
know who
brother.
that is.
that so we
Oh,
were just out
okay.
for the summer doing pest control cells, and I guess my brother is wearing one of my shirts. Probably we
So,
were. It was. I think it was over the 4th of July, so we were, you know, just out there. I think this was in Auburn. We were visiting my aunt there.
some baseball
Yeah.
game of some sort. Okay, because I'm looking back and I knew, but because I'm on the tail end of you, I don't have as I have like I knew I had one of you on the floor, but I decided to look at yours. See this? I'm like, I don't know who that guy is,
Yeah, it's my younger brother.
and he's wearing a Sig Up shirt. So is this a retreat? Maybe it's a retreat the last senior year or something. So
Yeah.
okay, more to the story.
Yep. So that's
But
what that one is.
all right, being a Greek, there's your beautiful wife.
Yep.
Toga party.
That's right.
I what is this? Because I was not there. This is again
This is another one of our summer things. This
okay.
is in Virginia, and we were
Oh,
just having a good time.
so this is even it wasn't even with the Sig Ep,
No,
but you're
no,
throwing a Greek party. I love it. I love it. Togas and all.
yep. This was a lot of
You know
fun.
that was the one big disappointment in my fraternity experience. We never had a toga party.
I know. We should have.
Not a, we'd have many parties, but not a single toga party.
Yep. So we were just being goofy and had a good toga party.
I
One.
love it. I love it. So, for those that don't know, you've Nate Putnam, Alex Putnam, Alex. Well, so this is Cammy, maiden name Isom, and we also have a few brothers. She's got a couple brothers that are our brothers, fraternity brothers, which is Brad and Brian.
Yep.
Was Brad? Did he graduate before you came in?
So I
He
knew
was only with
Brad.
us, I think, for a year.
Yeah, I knew Brad actually. I think before Cammy,
Oh,
but he wasn't a Sig Ep till later on, till after we
yeah.
graduated.
Are you? Oh, Brad. No, sorry, Brian.
Yeah, well, Brian's younger,
Okay,
so
so all right. See, and when I call Brian all the time when I'm looking for Brad, or vice versa. I'll call Brad and it's Brian that I want to talk to. So those
hmm
two, anyways, they every time they sit and say, "You don't know who you're reaching out to, do you? Can't keep us apart." So yeah, there's Brad, and then Brian Isom, and then they had their little sister Cammy who came in, and that's who you met through Alex, not
yeah,
even through her own brothers.
yeah.
Was
Well,
that it?
I don't know if I knew Brad super well
Mm-hmm.
before, um, and maybe that. I think I'm sure it was through Alex that I did meet Brad, but because they are cousins.
All right.
But I don't know that I can't remember the connection there. How I
So At what point did you say like, oh, Brad or Brian and Brad were in the fraternity, and you're like, this girl, her last name's Isom, they're Isom. Are you guys? Did you knew they were
Well,
connected
Bra-
when you were dating?
so Brad wasn't in the fraternity. Uh, it was after that I graduated that he entered the fraternity, so he wasn't in it yet.
Okay, wait. Am I thinking? Is there an older brother?
Brad's the older brother.
Brad's he's the dentist.
Yep.
I thought he was in it back with Nate and I. He was.
I don't think so.
No,
I think it was after.
son of a gun. This is the problem when you go graduate 20 years later.
And
You
maybe
just
I'm
start.
not thinking right either. I don't know, Oz.
Maybe you're confusing the two brothers as well, because Brian's the younger one, and him I had more experience with, but Brad was graduated before I graduated. Anyways,
Yeah.
no, not a big. I think it's funny how this is like this little circle, and then you ended up marrying into your brother, like your fraternity brother's family as well. So your
Yeah.
brothers by fraternity and your brothers by marriage, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um, all right. We're gonna move along because nobody else probably cares about that. I just think it's this fun little round robin.
For sure.
Um,
I'll have to
okay,
talk to
so
Brad and see if he was in there before. I can't remember. So,
I could have sworn he was, but whatever. Yeah, I need to actually reach out to him. I don't have a dentist. I need to get a dentist, so I
yeah.
need to get him on this list. Um, share with us your a memory or two from SIGEP. Why SIGEP? Why did you join SIGEP?
Well, just like I was saying, Ted was the one that introduced me to SIGAP,
Yeah,
but
but
I think the main thing was, like I was saying, just the brotherhood, um, being together with good men. I did also really like the balanced man part of SIGAP. Uh, not, and I've thought a lot about being a balanced man, since that point. And I think there's moments in our lives that we go through that we're not balanced, and it's hard. And I think you have to kind of lean on certain things at certain points in your life, but it's knowing that you want to become balanced in the future. And sometimes we have to pay more attention to certain things than others, but it's getting back into the focus. And I think just evaluating your circumstances, and that helps you become a balanced man. So,
sure, yeah. Life has its ebbs and flows, and the balance man philosophy has always been one thing that stuck with me. Do I follow it to a T? Like no.
no.
It's a. Sometimes I got to reinvest in myself and be like, okay, I'm not physically focusing on my body. I'm just focusing on work, or I'm not balancing my family, and it's that healthy balance of all things, which it's crucial, and
Hmm.
it's something you always continue to grind at. But I do appreciate learning it. I honestly, before college, I'd never thought about balanced. Um,
Yeah.
so it's been a good thing.
Yep.
So when you graduated, let's now move forward to your career life. You got into the housing financial bank world in a very rough time. Um, then from there, where did you kind of spit out and get to?
So, yeah, like I was saying, we moved down to Flagstaff as the branch manager down there, and then totally took a turn and said, we're moving back to Utah, and I'm going to get a job as a financial advisor. To get a job as a financial advisor, you've got to do a couple of things. You got to pass a big test. It's called the Series 7, and it's the securities test. So that's what helps you to be able to sell, investment products. And then you have to get your license for insurance as well. And so, there's lots of different companies out there that offer different paths. Some will pay for your testing and help you through that process. Some just kind of say, well, get your license and then we'll talk to you. So um, Edward Jones just seemed like a good fit for me because they offered to pay me a salary while I'm studying to test and to pay for my test. And so it just felt like a good start. It's a great company to work for. They're very family oriented. A lot of we do a summer regional each year, and they invite all our family to come with us instead of just us individually in the as a company. So I liked that portion of it, and it felt just a good fit from the corporate world with Citibank. Uh, it was more not as personal, and you can
Oh,
definitely tell the politics are a lot different in that type of structure. Edward Jones is not a public company, and so they don't have to. Um, so that was a major difference, I think, in the shift there. But I love it. Some of the things that I was looking for that I didn't have in my last job was being able to continuously learn. I felt like with lending, you're kind of just trapped in a in a wheel. You're doing the same thing day in and day out. Obviously, you're talking to different people, but it just felt very monotonous and didn't have a lot of growth. Um, with this job, I'm able to continuously learn and try to get better, and I can never know everything. That's the other key factor to it. But I've always been involved with customers and and being involved with people. I would say I'm more of a introvert than an extrovert, but it somehow works for me, and it definitely pushes me to get out of my comfort zone. But it's a good challenge, and I've enjoyed it.
so looking at this, you just hit the first big milestone of 10 years with Edward Jones.
Yeah,
That's big in today's society. 10 years with one single company, that's impressive. What are the you had mentioned that Edward Jones is a private company and they're more family oriented. Is there other benefits that Edward Jones offers that I guess obviously they gave you a base salary, they paid your way to get some, but they built some loyalty to you, or is that what are is it? Do they offer why Edward Jones? And I say this because I bring this up from my own personal experience. My
mm-hmm.
brother-in-law, he's a financial advisor. He's worked with numerous different funds, hedge funds. He started though with Fidelity. He was into Fidelity and then branched and then grew within and was only there 8 years. And it was at 2008 they were letting off people left and right, and they cut him, and then he's just bounced and bounced and bounced. Because he's always just seen different packages, or this firm is limited to what they can offer, and he knows he's got clients if he could offer different things, and so that's why I'm asking this question because that is something that's always been intriguing. Is I family members in this world, I
Sure.
get it, but I'm impressed to see that.
Yeah, and I think that what we offer is a structure that allows us to be as independent as possible. So we're able to run our business the way we want to run it. They're not going to push products on us that we have to sell to our clients. And so I like that independence part of it. But they also offer the support when we have questions. And so, our structure is a little bit different than others in that we have our own branch locations as a financial advisor. They are changing that a little bit more to where we're having multi FA offices, multi financial advisor offices. Um, and I would assume mostly for cost reasons because it's
Yeah.
expensive to run this model. But we also have a support person, so a branch office administrator that assists us. And so you know, in the industry, to have like a support person like that, typically they're working for 3 to 4 different advisors. So that's kind of a unique thing for our model. And so I think we can focus a little bit more on our client that way. But um, other things, as far as like products, most of the other firms offer the same products. So that's not really a differentiator in my book.
Okay. So you say they're changing the model. Does that mean you might be changing? Are you going to be partnering with some other advisors within, or
We have the option, um, and it's mainly just to obviously save on cost on the profit and loss statement. At the end of the day, if you have two in the same office, you're more
cutting?
profitable. So
Yeah. So with you running your own independent branch, is that's not a that's not a Edward Jones chunk of change. That's coming from you in your pocket, or is it a little
but
bit like they cover 20%, you cover
so they
80?
they do cover like the office space and a lot of the expenses that way. So we are an employee. Um, but
Okay.
I just received my a partner. So I'm a partner of Edward Jones at this point. So they offer a partnership, um, and so that's just kind of a nice thing that they do.
So as a private entity, you're now kind of you get a piece of the whole pie, for a fraction or whatever by
Mhm.
showing your loyalty, staying long term, being vested into it.
Correct. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's something, and that's my brother-in-law. That is one of the things he always wanted to get to that partner status, but with Fidelity, it was going to be almost impossible. And then he moved to these other smaller firms where it is possible. But yeah, the partners don't want to give up equity, but he's the sales guy. He's the one bringing in X amount of dollars per quarter.
Yep.
He wants a piece of the pie. Like he gets his commission bonus, and that was great and all. Anyways, he ended up, long story short, Soltis. Do you know Soltis here in St. George?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Mhm.
Yeah, so he's actually now their acquisitions guy, mergers, acquisitions, but he still sells. But he's with Soltis now here in St. George, but he's doing a branch in kind of independent, kind of similar, down in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Okay.
So, um, very that's cool. I appreciate like that. You don't hear as many corporate companies giving that type of independence and growth opportunity as quickly.
Hmm.
So that's good. So things are going well.
Yeah, things are going great. Can't complain.
If I was an undergrad and I was sitting there going, I've always been interested in money. I've always wanted to get into financial advising. What paint a picture for us? Would looking back, yeah, you did marketing and economics, but would you have recommended an accounting course? Would you have recommended more math? What would you recommend to an undergrad who is interested in going into financial advising?
If I was going to do my college experience differently, I probably would have gone into finance. They actually have a lot of courses now for financial advising. UVU actually is one of the best in the country for it.
Really?
Yeah, so just knowing that, I probably would have done a little bit different, things a little bit different. But I think having really valuable is the summer sales experience. I just feel like I've learned so much from that, even more valuable than my school experience, um, in a lot of
Get, getting
ways.
getting a lot of no's and
Yes.
getting in awkward situations of,
Yep.
oh, it costs this much and you got to try to work the angles. Oh yeah, summer sales is fantastic.
So I would definitely, I would recommend that to anyone. And I feel like that experience is what got me a lot of my jobs out of college, because it shows that you're willing to sacrifice and that you have sales skills, and you have some type of job experience, and it's not just your diploma from your university. So I think that would be one of the things, but just getting more experience in financial advising. There are internships out there, different things that you can do to get into the industry a little bit faster.
Okay. Where so looking back, you would have done things different. Are you glad how it all panned out, or wish again, kind of in hindsight, you're like, man, if I would have jumped into it right out the gate, I could have been 4 years ahead.
And I,
Is it?
yeah, I
I
think,
guess my question would be: is it more of a time base? Like, do you realize now that you're doing what you're doing, it's the time that is of value?
well, I think the experience even that I had at City Financial, um, although it wasn't my favorite thing, I learned valuable things there too. And it helps me become a good financial advisor. I saw people, getting into debt and doing different things that way that I didn't want people to experience. So I think that was the big change. And all your experience helps you in life. It it's just different. So I don't mind the way that I went about my career. Um, but if I was going back and looking at it, I would have probably done finance and some different degrees that would have helped me.
Um, so Series 7 is your certification on top to be able to sell or to trade, not
Hmm.
trade,
Yeah.
to sell trading.
Hmm.
Um, can you get that in college? Like you don't have to be any specific age, right? You could at 18 just go
Yeah,
out and
and
take that
actually,
test.
so the kind of the cream of the crop of financial advising is to get your certified financial planner, and you can actually get pretty close to getting that in college now, and that would be very beneficial. That's something I'm going to be working on in the next year, and
Okay.
so it usually takes about a year and a half to do that course.
And is that outside of That's an independent certification. That's not a university thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like your CPA, the certified financial planners, kind of that equivalent.
Okay. Okay, got it. Um, I'm asking for curiosity, like just in general, because this, yeah, diversification. So looking back, because you are now, in some aspect, you are your own entrepreneur, business owner. Like your branch is yours. You're
Mhm.
responsible for it. The checks and balances. Is a higher education more so like a master's? Is that even necessary in your field?
A master's probably not.
No.
Um, yeah, it's not. I've thought about it, but having the CFP is probably more valuable to me than doing going back and going to more school at this
Okay.
point.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. What do you hate about your job, Rich?
I hate about it.
Let's be honest. Let's like I want to know the bad stuff. What's some of the frustrating stories?
Well, as far as like frustrating, obviously there's a lot that we can't control. Um, and being a financial advisor, you can't control the markets. Um, there's a lot of variables that we can't, we try to educate as much as possible, but you're still going to have people that have bad experiences. And so that, that's the difficult part of this job. It's very challenging and it's a cyclical business. Um, we've experienced it last year. The markets went down. And so it's a job where you have to be mentally fit because um, sometimes it does create hard emotions, and so being level-headed and being able to do other things in my life that get my brain cleared, like cycling, help me get through these times. Um, so yes.
Without divulging any information that you're not supposed to divulge. So let me give you a quick story. My brother-in-law had to make a call to inform one of his clients that they lost $10 million that day.
Hmm.
And then now granted their portfolio was large to lose 10 million, but that's still a very hard because you have to massage and be like, no, it's long term. We're locked in long term. Do you have any experiences where like you had to make a call and rip a band-aid off?
Well, you have to do that all the time. in a year
Oh,
like last year, I play psychologist more than financial advisor,
okay.
because people are, they definitely do have, it's hard. It's hard at some points when especially when you're working with money. When it goes down, uh, people aren't happy, and so it's all just about educating though and showing them the long-term vision. Uh, I use an example right now of, you know, surfing. We're kind of like paddling in the water right now, but we will catch the wave at some point. And typically we have three times as many up periods as we do down, or as we do down. So it goes 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up. And I think that's what you have to make sure people understand.
If I had, and we'll talk, well, so if I had, we're going to test your skills right now. I had $10,000 and I'm age, we'll say 40, 45. I want to retire at 55 and I got $10,000. Where are you going to put that $10,000? What would you do?
Well, the first thing is that's important to me is understanding your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And so making sure that you uh, know what you're using it for. And so knowing what
I,
your risk is, and all those different things would go into formulating a solution for it.
so you passed. You were very. The word using the word formulated was very strategic. That's good because honestly, like that is today's society. We do want Robinhood and Coinbase, right? What's your thoughts on those, real quick?
Um, if you're wanting to do something on your own, great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the problem is there's lots of different types of investments, and I don't think people understand the risks that they're taking when they go into those types of things. And so that's the kind of the downside of playing it that way. And
Okay.
a lot of people don't adequately diversify. So when you get into years like last year, that it creates issues for sure.
Well, you passed my test, so you can keep my money. Um, no, that is something that I do. I see this change. Well, and it hasn't been instant, but it's been like over the last 5 years with those two apps specifically. Coinbase, Robinhood, any person can trade, right? And you can do large amounts of money, you can do small amounts of money, but it's like I'm the financial guru, right? And you can go on Reddit and Wall Street Bets and all the fun little forums and be like, oh, well, shoot, I could put in $10,000 and 2 years walk away with 50,000, or even in a month. Like there's that. I feel like that is something where we do get overhyped because unfortunately we've seen that in the last, yeah, your 10 years. You have seen amazing growth too,
Mm.
because you came in at the bottom, and there's been some great growth just these 10 years. And we've seen things like cryptocurrency where people could be overnight millionaires. And so we get in this mindset where you hear about those fraction of a fraction percent that is making a killing, right? Because they made a lucky guess or they knew something. That all being said, we want money. We want money fast. We want quick investments, quick returns. We want things quick. And I do think that like true financial advising, as you're kind of expressing, is it's strategic, it's patience, it's longevity, and it's it's definitely not quick. It's definitely not instant,
Yeah,
but
for
it
sure.
is, like you say, diversification and that slow play.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, I don't know. It's been. I do give myself an allowance. Like, well, I did back in. I think it was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I gave myself an allowance of like I put in $300 in Robinhood, and that was my play money.
Hmm.
Whatever. If I lost it, I lost it. Anyways, happy to say I won a few. I got a
That's good.
couple,
Yeah,
but
and you
nothing
can.
that's gonna set me apart. it is the slow play, and we all do that in different ways. Investing, I love what you say, diversification. Investing is one, investing in real estate is another,
For
investing in
sure.
like a business. I own my own business, so those types of investments are all part of this whole plan, which, as a financial advisor, you're taking everything into consideration, right? Not just the
Correct.
stock market. And
Yep.
I think that's kind of a misconception. I know before spending more time with you, I did think it was all about stocks. Just
Well, and
that's it.
the industry has changed that way a lot too. Um, when I first came in with Edward Jones, it was more focused on probably products. Um, Now it's more on the total picture, and the industry is changing, and we have to adapt to different things, what people want. And so they want more of a total, full picture of what's going on. So that's the experience.
Does Edward Jones doesn't touch the crypto, right?
We don't
Yeah.
know.
You just stick with the basic stocks, bonds, and insurances, so forth. So, are you? How is your portfolio
How's my portfolio?
divided? How's your portfolio?
It went down just like everyone else. So,
Uh,
but yeah,
So you're playing kind of the standard overall.
mhm. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes up and goes down just like everyone else. Um, and yeah, but yeah, it's great. I try to add as much as possible when things are down. So
You're not following Nancy Pelosi, her stock trading tips.
no, try not to.
Oh shoot, that's great, man. Now overall, your experience, where do you see yourself? Here's the question I'd like to ask: is where do you see yourself in another 10 years? How old are you? You're
I'm 41.
39, 40 now.
41. Yeah.
41. Okay, where do you see yourself in 10 years? You did 10 years with Edward Jones. Were you going for the 20?
Yeah, I would see myself with Edward Jones for another 10 years. Um, we'll probably still be in Layton. I don't see myself moving. Our dream is to move to over to Mountain Green. We really enjoy it over
Oh,
there. Um,
beautiful.
but yeah, just continuing to try to push myself physically, mentally, and spiritually. I think that's my drive. Um, my I've been cycling for a few years now. I do loadage every year, and so that's kind of my physical feat that I get over, and just really enjoy that. It's really relaxing to me, relaxing and strenuous all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, biking is one I have no correlation with. I can't bike at
You're a
all.
runner, aren't you?
I'm a runner.
Yep.
Yeah. With our in your experience, so one little fun fact that those that don't spend time watching Rich, he likes to travel too. And is that more your wife? She drags you everywhere. Did
Yeah,
he?
I mean, we can earn we earn trips with Edward Jones, and so part of it's
Oh, that's
from that.
that's where that is. You gotta
But
cash in.
my
Huh? You
wife,
gotta get this.
my wife does enjoy travel for sure. I do too.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. You got it. So you've gotten. Are you getting the scuba diving bug?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always have that bug. I love diving. It's a lot
Diving's
of fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like things have been turning out pretty good.
Yep. Things have been
I'm
great.
proud of you, man. I'm excited to hear how things are and where you're going and what you're doing. And um, I wanna, and I appreciate your time. I wanna finish this off with the key question or the two key comments. One is obviously I want to direct some of this to the undergrads, and you did share a little snippet, but if you could share one last piece of advice to any undergrad, and they don't have to be even interested in financial advising. They could just, what would you say to your college self if you could? And then the
Well,
second question, well, go ahead and do that one, and then we'll do the last.
I would just say, being involved in organizations like SIGEP, I think is great because it's that other component of college that you need. I think the social aspect is really important, that you're creating relationships, because after you get out of college, you'll rely on some of those relationships that you have, and I think that's really important, that you do those extra things, the extracurricular things that go on in college, be involved in things.
Amen. I could second that handhold completely. It's getting involved.
Yep.
Again, adding to that balanced man,
Yep.
right? Well rounded. Finally, guys that haven't seen you for 10 years, 10 years plus, what would you say to our brothers, our alumni brothers that are wanting to catch up with you?
Well, we need to get together sometime. I, a lot of us live in Utah, so we need to do a reunion at some point. That'd be a lot of fun. But just thanks for all that you guys did for me. I appreciate it, and you know, enjoy all of our friendships that we have, for sure.
Really. Awesome. Rich, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Like I said, this has been a couple months in the making.
Yeah.
I need there's a few others that are like avoiding my calls, but I look forward to connecting with all of you, and I really appreciate you touching base. Um, we need to catch up next time
Yes.
again.
For sure.
Stay in the country and come to St. George. We got less snow here.
I know I haven't
But if
been
you're
down there
in
for a while, so I need
if you're in
to.
my neck of the woods, let's do lunch.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Oz.
Hey, love your brother.
Okay, I love you too. We'll
Bye.
see you.